I love to travel and fish, but when I'm pulling my camper, I can't pull a boat trailer. Some locations that I go to have horsepower limitations or unimproved ramps where I can't launch my skiff or my bay boat. And some of the locations that I fish are too far to paddle, or I'll get to a remote location and be shut down because of rough water. So I decided to try out a 12-foot folding boat made by Porta-Bote, and I paired it with a 6-horsepower Suzuki 4-stroke engine. When the boat arrived, it came in 3 packages. One box contained the wheels that you can attach to the boat to get it from your vehicle down to the water. The other box was for the seat and also the spreader bar to put the boat together. And the boat was encased in a double layer of plastic heavy-duty bags. Thanks to the high-quality packing, even though it looked like the shipper attacked my boxes with a forklift or a handcart, all the parts arrived undamaged. Assembling the boat is fairly straightforward and easy to do. This is a 12-foot model with the new Alpha Series transom that came out in 2018. The whole idea behind this new transom is that it gives the boat a little bit more stiffness and you pick up a little bit more speed at the top end. Total assembly time is about 3 minutes. Counting assembly, attaching your motor, loading up gear and bringing the boat to water, planning about 30 minutes at a leisurely pace, or if you're in a hurry, you could probably do it in 15 minutes. I transport my boat on the roof rack of my Jeep. On the crossbars I put my surfboard pads to add extra cushioning for the boat, and then I strap the boat down with 1-inch straps. The boat without its seats weighs 87 pounds, and to unload it I lower the back stern section onto a pad, and then I go up to the bow and lower that down from the roof of the Jeep. If you're by yourself and you have to transport your boat from your vehicle down to the water, that transition is easy with the optional snap-on dolly wheels that are available from the manufacturer. Once on the water, I was very happy with the way that the boat performed. The first thing you'll notice on this boat is that the floor flexes. It's kind of like a water bed, but actually that flexing is a positive because it absorbs a lot of the chop as you're going through rough water. And also because the 5-foot width of the boat, there's really no problems with stability if you decide to walk around. Even with the 30-mile-an-hour northeaster and 1 to 2 foot seas, the boat handled true. Many a time with trips down to the Keys I've run into conditions like this, and I'd much rather be in a motorized boat like this than in my kayak. Top speed of the boat with the 6-horsepower motor and all fishing gear in one 230-pound person is about 13.5 miles per hour. For a more stealthy approach to fishing areas, you can try oars. You can either paddle backwards in the traditional manner, or like I'm doing here, facing forward like a drift boat. Either way, whichever way you face when you're oaring, the boat tracks true to the direction you paddle in. My favorite way to propel the boat without a motor is with a kayak paddle. As a matter of fact, after the first cruise, I left the oars at home. I'm 6'3", and there's plenty of room for me to stretch out my legs while I'm sitting on the bow seat. As a matter of fact, it's very comfortable to sit up there for hours, whether I'm working a weed line in a freshwater lake or working a tidal creek in northeast Florida looking for redfish. Another benefit of using the kayak paddle, along with the stability of the boat, is that you can stand in the bow and work the paddle while you're standing. This gives you better visibility for tailing fish on flats. Another question you might have when using this boat on a flat is, how is the hull slap? Well, I hate to say it, but it's not as good as a Hell's Bay, a Beaver Tail, or an East Cape. You do have hull slap with this boat, but it's very minimal. And as a matter of fact, if you shift your weight a little bit when you're standing in the bow, you can minimize the hull slap. But it's definitely quiet enough to get you close to fish. And here's the proof that the fish like the boat. My friend here is finding an 8.5-pound speckled trout. The 12-foot boat easily handles 2 fishermen. As a testament to the stability of this boat, I had to get the net from the front of the boat while my friend was fighting the fish.
That's the biggest trout I ever caught.
Redfish also seem to approve of the boat. On today's trip, we were using live shrimp. To keep shrimp alive, you need a good irrigation system. I made mine out of a plastic ammunition box, and inside I put a air bubbler and a small 12-volt battery. I use this same power source to run my fish finder. The only thing I added to the boat was this bow cleat, which I made out of some scrap wood and a wing nut, and I put it through one of the holes that was already fabricated into the boat. This gives you a place to put a bow line or tie off your anchor. After a lot of experimentation, this is a layout that I came up with that I like the best for when I go fishing. I have space for 3 rods on the port side of the boat. This gives me the ability to have a bait to fish on the top, and also the mid-range of the water column, and then also, like, say, a worm or a jig for the bottom. Attached to the middle seat on a rod holder clamp is my depth finder. By placing the depth finder here, I can easily see it when I'm driving the boat. On the starboard side, I keep my paddle. I do this for a reason. I want to keep it as far away from my rods as possible, but it gives me a place that I can quickly put it down and then reach over to the port side to grab a fishing rod to cast to a fish. My 3-gallon gas tank is kept just in front of the middle seat. On the starboard stern of my boat, you'll see a Scotty's rod holder. Next to that is a clamp-on transducer holder. On the port side, on the floor, you'll see a plastic container that contains my collapsible anchor and anchor line. And then next to that is the battery box for my aerator and also my electronics. And then just above that on the transom, you'll see an additional cleat that I use for anchor line and also to tie off the boat to the dock. Here is another angle of the layout of my boat. One other thing that I do for security is I wrap a Yeti cooler cable through the metal bow eye of the boat, and then I take and attach a bicycle cable to that and wrap it around the tree. That way I feel a little bit safer when I have to be away from the boat. I chose the 2018 Suzuki 6 horsepower 4-stroke for a couple of reasons. One, it's lightweight. 2, it's quiet. I also really liked its shallow running capability, the way I can kick up the engine to run in shallow water and then also put it in reverse without the engine popping up on me. You can also turn the engine 90 degrees, which means you can turn the boat on basically its axis. It has both an internal and an external tank capability. Also, the nice thing about the fuel system is that you have a shutoff valve and also a locking vent cap so you don't get fumes inside of your tow vehicle. And then the other thing I really like is that when you're storing the motor, you have 3 ways you can store it, on either side or on the front of the motor. I leave you with one last important test, and that is the ability to take a good afternoon nap on the boat, which of course it passed with flying colors. Thanks to everyone for watching, and if you're not a subscriber, please join my YouTube channel so you don't miss the next adventure.